call the meeting to order, the Livingston Parish Master Plan Review Committee for January 5th, 2026. Brand new year, gentlemen, ladies. We're running a little late. It's approximately 6:18. Ms. Petrie, would you mind calling, well, let's do invocation. Oh, call order. I'm sorry.
Ralph Burgess.
Here.
Coley Johnson. Myself, Sabrina Petrie, here. Gerald Burns.
Here.
Merrill Hess.
Here.
Travis Tharp.
Here.
Brian Clemens.
Here.
And Steve Larkey.
Mr. Tharp, would you mind leading us in the invocation, please?
Lord, we thank you for this new year, and we ask you as we come together here to do the work of people and for this parish that you give us an open mind and a heart to serve people. We ask that you pay a protection upon our parish, that you look out for each and every citizen. We ask it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Mr. S., would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen. Item 5. Since it's a new year, our bylaws calls for new election of officers. First one will be a council chair. I'm going to open the floor for any nominations.
I want to make a nomination.
Yeah.
It's on. Ms. Sabrina is the co-chair and has been for the last year. I think she's done a really good job in preparing the minutes and preparing the agenda, working with the parish council clerks, working with WSP consultants on the master plan and all the related things. And I would like to nominate Miss Sabrina as chairperson for the next year.
Right. Second for anybody? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Sabrina,
Thank you. Thank you.
you now have the gavel. You can go from right there.
All right, so we're going to open the election for vice chair. Do I have any nominations for vice chair?
No. I will take vice chair if anybody would like for me to take vice chair.
I would volunteer if nobody else wants it.
We have a runoff.
I think so. So we have Ralph Burgess and Gerald Burns. Anyone else want to nominate for vice chair? Yes. Okay. All those for Ralph Burgess? Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Ralph. And then all those for Gerald Burns? All right, so I have, were you for Ralph?
Yes.
Okay, I have 3 for Ralph and 1 for Gerald Burns, so Ralph Burgess, you are the vice chair.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so, let's see. All right, so the first item on the agenda is to adopt the December minutes. It's item 6. Can I get a motion for the adoption of the December minutes?
I'll motion.
I have a question about the minutes.
Okay.
Just an item. It's 7:4, paragraph 7:4. Mr. Clemens had made a comment. He was waiting on we were waiting on the Unified Land Development Code and the Drainage Master Plan, as well as the Traffic Master Plan. I wasn't aware the parish was doing a traffic master plan. Are we? No, that it was not being done. The traffic master plan was never authorized, to my knowledge.
No, they're doing, what the parish is doing is the committee that's been put together is putting a basis for the the basis for the master plan for the traffic is what's happening right now. So that committee, that infrastructure committee, is doing that basis for that traffic, that's my understanding.
But not a parish-wide traffic master plan.
It's for it to be the basis for the parish, the whole parish wide. That was my understanding. Correct.
It's intended to be included in this unified master plan, not to be a standalone plan.
Well, I know there was a lot of talk about doing some studies on the choke points in the parish and stuff like that, but as far as I know, none of that was ever done or authorized.
Well, I can,
So I'm just wondering.
we can definitely.
It would be a good thing. I'm not knocking that. I think it should be done, but I wasn't aware that we were even doing anything on the.
I can definitely do some research and bring it up at the next meeting. This is just the statements that were presented at the meeting. But the next meeting, I'll verify if there is a traffic master plan. There's definitely the drainage master plan and the Unified Land Development Code that's in process right now. And then, of course, the actual master plan and the future land use map have been completed. And actually, in your folder, there's a packet. The packet is the finalized master plan as well. I hope.
I motion that we accept the minutes.
Okay. So I have Travis Tharp makes a motion. Do I have a second for the motion? Mr. Burgess seconds the motion. Anyone opposed? Or all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. All right. We don't have any old business on the agenda, but are there any comments regarding any old business? No? All right. We will scratch item number 7 as the drainage master plan. It doesn't have a current update since the last meeting, so we're going to hold off on that one.
Sidebar note on that, guys, I'm gonna reach out to HAF and have them come in to give us a quick update on the drainage planners, where they sit with it internally and with the parish. I know they've been having vignettes, so I'm gonna reach out to HAF for the group and have them come in and do a quick presentation. They said they'd come in anytime we ask.
Perfect. Thank you. Item number 8 is from Mr. Burns regarding House Bill 460. Mr. Burns, would you like to elaborate?
Along with the capital outlay, and this is, normally it's House Bill 560, but in 2025 is House Bill 460, better known as the pork bill. Everybody gets a little pork in Livingston Parish, and of course, if you go through, I think it's 92 pages, if you go through it item for item, you'll find every parish, every city, every community, associations, everybody gets a little money, you know. Now, this does not include, I only looked at Livingston Parish item for item, but there is a lot of things in House Bill 460 that money goes to associations. Now, it doesn't say where they are and don't say what they do. It's just associations, and some churches get some, and it's dished out, but I'm not gonna spend a long time on each one of them. But page 2, the Killian water contract, there was $707,000 for 3 cities. Killian was one of them, and Tallulah was another one, and I divided that by 3 and come up with But I wanted to call Killian today and find out exactly what they got, but I didn't. I ran out of time, so maybe I can call tomorrow another day and get an update on that. But 37 Dillon Springs Children's Advocate Center got $100,000. 37 page 37 pickleball court, Live Oak High School. Next one will be Gravity District Number 2, got $25,000 for improvements. Port Vincent bought a new tractor for $75,000. Springfield got a park facility and equipment is $100,000. Walker Parks and Recreation got $125,000. Livingston Parish School Board for capital improvements, it don't say where, $75,000. Livingston Parish Parks and Recreation, District Number 3 got $60,000. Livingston Parish Recreational District Number 6 got $50,000. Albany Police Department got $50,000. Livingston Parish Fire Protection District Number 1 got $50,000. The Livingston Parish Fair Association got $932,000, almost $1 million. Livingston Parish School Board facility renovation, $165,000. Dillon Springs Ward 2 court vehicles got $55,000. Livingston Parish Kenshin Road reconstruction, $375,000. Livingston Parish Government Allen Bayou drainage, $250,000. Town of Livingston Police vehicles got $55,000. Town of Springfield Police Department got $150,000. Livingston Parish Fire District Number 1, $25,000. So taking all that, I got right at $3 million, a little over $3 million. If Killian got a third of the $707,000, I don't know that yet, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But that's $3 million. Hey, that's a little pork, huh? That's good. Everybody got something.
Thank you for getting this information together. Do you mind, because you said you're going to call Killian tomorrow?
I'm gonna try tomorrow.
Okay. Do you mind keeping me updated with the information
sorry.
for it? Can you keep me updated with the information that you get
Sure.
from Killian? Okay, thank you.
Sabrina, could I make a
Yeah,
comment?
go ahead.
Appreciate this synopsis of the,
Well, it's just good information to
Yeah, it
know
is.
that Livingston Parish is getting some monies. Everybody, every city got a little bit, every community got a little bit, and fire districts and drainage and
I'd like to comment on the content herein. I notice we have 20 items where money is being flowed to the parish. Primarily in the parish, we're tasked with health, safety, and welfare. And after that comes economic activity and leisure activity. Of the 20 items, one item only is identified for a health item. That's the Killian Water. Of course, Killian's having tremendous water difficulties right now. There's 5 items listed as safety items: Albany Police Department, Fire Protection District, other police departments, fire district. 6 items that I would classify as leisure activities: fairs, parks, that sort of thing. That tells me that we're spending a lot of money on having a good time and not a lot of money on the health of our citizens in this parish. And it's something I intend to push a little more fervently in the future.
I like that perspective. Thank you, Mr. Clemens. And actually, with that information and with your comment, it kind of moves us into the next item. Now, the next item actually says recommendation of a parish-wide water plan. I'd like to lift the item and adjust it to an introduction. And as we introduce it, if you look in the packet that has been provided, there's some documentation, and this is just to introduce the information for the water system. So if you look at the green tab, so I try to color coordinate it. There's a packet with a green tab. This is our graded system for the Killian water system. And so the Louisiana Department of Health grades each water system from each area of Louisiana. The Killian system was graded as a 69% D in 2024. Now, on the blue tab piece of paper is just a comparison, just so you can see how Killian is in perspective to the other areas in Louisiana, in Livingston Parish. So, for example, Denham Springs rated an 85% B. And if you notice, there are some similarities, but there are a lot of differences that brings that Killian score down to that 69%. So this is just to compare how they grade the system and to show you why Killian's system is actually that low. Now, the purple packet that I have in there is a list for 2024 of all of Louisiana's graded systems, water systems. Out of the entire Louisiana water system, there's only 4 that scored a D or an F, and 2 of them are in Livingston Parish. And I think that says a lot because East Baton Rouge, only 1 had a B, they all had A's. Ascension Parish, all A's, B's, maybe 4 or 5 C's. Livingston Parish, they did a wonderful job except for in these 2 areas of Livingston Parish. So I think considering all the different areas, the fact that 2 of these areas are in Louisiana, that's a huge perspective that we need to look at. Now, I do want to make sure that we understand that our focus in this committee is the master plan committee. So we have to make sure whatever we're doing is actually to align the master plan to our parish. So if you look at your packet, it's the one with the binder clip. This is the finalized version of the master plan. There's a pink tab on your packet of the master plan. And if you open that, it states the information for domestic water, which is potable, and it states what Livingston Parish expectation for the water system is. And it actually emphasizes that in 2021, the Louisiana legislature adopted Act 98, which authorized the Louisiana Department of Health Safe Drinking Water Program to develop a letter grading system for community water quality system. So that kind of emphasizes what I just showed you guys in those packets. Now, what we need to do as our committee is to figure out how can we align this master plan with making sure that this water is drinkable and has a positive grade for the parish. And some of the recommendations that the master plan has promoted was creation of a parish-wide water plan. Now, that's not saying that we're going to integrate the systems. It's just saying that there's a plan out there. And I know New Orleans has a water plan. There's several areas with water plans, and it's just to help prevent future issues and to make sure that the water is safe for all citizens in the community. The second recommendation is combine services with existing private and municipal municipalities, construction of new infrastructure. These are 3 recommendations. So I'm not asking for any kind of recommendation for today. It's more of just to introduce the issue at hand of the drinking water in Killian and in that area. And I think the other, so where is it at? Springfield Mobile Home Park had a 53% F. I mean, that doesn't look too good at all. We want to make sure that our community in Livingston Parish, we even said the number 1 thing is health. And to me, we drink, how much water do we drink a day? And that, you know, that's contributing to our health. So taking in consideration the master plan and the information that's been given through all the data that's been collected, I think that we should, as a committee, try to figure out what we can recommend to, whether it's the council or the planning commission, to help our community. Sorry, that was a long talk. Do I have any comments? Would anybody like to add to this?
I got I guess a question. This is good information. Grades for drinking water in Louisiana, and they talk about all the entities in Livingston Parish especially. How do they do that? Do they go out and test the water? I mean,
So they do. They do.
Give me an answer.
Oh, you can't
do
go
these?
for it.
I guess my question is: do these entities all have their own water source, or their own community water system? Or apparently, like Springfield Mobile Home Park, 53F, they must be their own water well, huh?
So let me a few things in here which I want to kind of clarify what you're asking for, what you're asking about, and what's in here. So, like the Springfield Mobile Home Park, Jim's Trailer Park, that is a individual system for that mobile home park because they serve so many. They have to have what they call a licensed classified water.
They have their own
Certification.
private water
They have
well.
a private water well that owns it because they serve so many in there.
Right.
They have to abide by the DHH regulations. And how DHH goes about that is that you have to sample a system and send the samples in at a quarterly or biannual
Right, I understand
basis and
that,
all
but-
that. So when you list a system in this, and this is where I would kind of have some reservations with this listing here, when you talk about Jim's Trailer Park or a Springfield Mobile Home Park, that is a system that would be, if we have a parish-wide system or a system that comes in there, that individual, and I'm gonna call it individual because that's what it is, will be picked up by a municipal system. It's like me having a well on my place and serving my house, barn, and whatever else I have on our property. So, yes, they're graded just like that. For instance, and I'll pull some parallels. There was a small water system down south of Brown Road. There, if y'all know where Brown Road, where the store is. I forgot the gentleman's name, but he used to run a water system in Falcon Crest, right? Okay. And what he used to do is he was by the bylaws and everything. And I know this is going to freak some people out, but he would chlorinate his well. He'd pour Clorox down his well. As long as he was meeting the samples and all that, but he would grade a D or F by today's standards to what we have. Ward 2 came in, bought him out, changed the whole system. Okay? So you have systems like this. When I look at this list that's in our master plan, the City of Denham Springs, Town of Walker, Town of Livingston, and Village of Albany and Killeen, those are your main water companies. Your diversion water is another system. It's a pretty larger system, but it's down there in the diversion area, and they not only supply the diversion area, but they supply a little bit further out. Utilities Inc., that is a small private system that has these individual areas, like a French Settlement Water at one point was. Yale Community Water, which we know, which is right down the road here at Satsuma. That's a area-wide area-wide water system. Fourth Ward should be up there with City of Denham Springs and all that. They have their own system that almost meets Ward 2 water up on 442. And then you have River Pines Plantation Utilities, which is just another, it's a small little one road, small community system. South of Parish. Same thing with Lakeside East and Carter Plantation. Those are Carter Plantation is a pretty significant size minor system. But when you put Jim's Trailer Park and Highland and Springfield Mobile Home Park, and it kind of skews the conversation a little bit. Well, what I envision when we're looking at this master plan, we're talking about taking what we have already of large systems and putting them, lack of a better term, I'm going to say it, put them under umbrella of a parish-wide system. And that's kind of like layman's terms, spitballing type thing. There's a lot of moving parts of that. So that's the only section I have this list that I want to kind of get out about. But it's like the grading goes. The grading is based on what they have to turn in, financials, different things like that to DHH every year.
Well, I'd see some of them got over 100. I wonder how they get over 100. And there must be some
There's
categories that they're grading them on
If you look on the
that
very
has nothing
bottom.
to do with water. That
Yeah.
has nothing to do with water quality.
Look on the very bottom, and there's a bonus category, but there is also a water quality category in it as well. Let's
40, 50.
see.
It's 110 points available. If
Yeah.
I could get a little more organic, talk about the water, Mr. Burns. The state of Louisiana regulates any water well that's drilled beyond the point that you can use an above ground. Basically, if you want to hand drill a well in at 25 feet, put in a jet pump, knock yourself out. I got one myself, used to water the garden. When I was a kid, we drank out of one. More to the point, the state will not regulate those hand drilled wells at 25 feet. Doesn't happen. The next usable water you're going to get is probably somewhere around 170 feet. 170 feet in either up to and including, 2,000, 2,500 feet in some wells. Now, everything north of I-12 is basically north of the Baton Rouge fault line, okay? So north of the fault line, the strata of the earth is like this. It's all sloping upwards. So when you drill down 2,000 feet north of the Baton Rouge fault, when that diagonal line heading north finally reaches the surface, we call that an outcrop. So the outcropping for the water that we're drinking on the north side of I-12 is somewhere in the vicinity of Brookhaven, Mississippi, slightly north. All right? But if you go south of I-12, on the other side of that fault line, the strata is perfectly level. And so what we're doing there is basically having surface filtration. Water just works its way down through the swamp. And that's the area we have no gravity drainage district. So all the sewer is laying on the surface in that part of the parish. We're not helping it get flushed out to the Gulf. And the people that have wells there have a tremendous problem with hydrogen sulfide. If you go deep enough, the water's going to be sulfur. Another part that's not addressed in this is there are areas of the parish that aren't serviced by any water company at all. The Planning and Zoning Commission recently approved plans for the Woodlands just off of Highway 22, you remember? Large neighborhoods, part of the Deer Run settlement. And they're large lots, 2 to 3 acres. Nice estates is what we're building. But at the same time, the plan there is for individual water wells south of the interstate. But the people that have no service whatsoever, those are the real concern I have. I don't know if you remember, about a year and a half ago, the council had brought forth the manager of the Southwest Water Company and was going to grill him. And he came up here and really knew nothing. But we watched him grill. But at the same time, there was a dozen families sitting there on the left side of the gallery, primarily black people. They had gotten together and come here to ask the council to do something. And they had elected a spokesman. And he says, we don't have a lot of money. We're not educated. We got shotgun houses and quarter-acre lots. And nobody brings us water. Nobody. 100 feet north, Killian Water Supply. 100 feet south, French Settlement Water Supply. And neither one of them wants to drop a line down that road. Quarter-acre lots. They have hand wells at 25 feet, and every house has a septic tank, and nobody cleans the ditch. Those are the kind of people I think that we want to bring under umbrella of management in this parish. I think what we need is a commission here that oversees all of the water systems operating in the parish. Make certain that we are trying to help everybody. We don't necessarily have to turn it into one water company, but we do need to regulate what's happening in water in this parish. My soapbox, sorry.
I agree. I think that sounds great.
There's been a lot of discussion on that for a long time, but the water wells in French Settlement, Killian, especially French Settlement, have been bad for a long time. I guess they need money to drill better wells, deeper wells. And
That's not going to help you when you go south of the interstate, because once again, you're on the other side of the Baton Rouge Fault. What we need is all of the water in the parish has to come from north of I-12, and that's going to take money to get a force main to the south portion of the parish.
force main is from north of the interstate to south of the interstate.
That's what it's going to take to get good, clean water.
You mean we can't find good water at 2,500, 3,000 feet south of the interstate?
No,
Hydrogen sulfide is the problem.
not only hydrogen sulfide, it's salt water intrusion.
Salt intrusion as well. And that's when you start getting to the top of the basalt layer, which we know as the Tuscaloosa Trend, which is where they're going to be start pumping the CO2 that we're fighting with everything we can and losing effort.
So just to give you all an idea, salt water has already been detected in Baton Rouge Water Supply in the south side, and Exxon's wells had already pulled salt water in that area at 25 feet deep. So the long-term plan for Baton Rouge Water has always been to go to a surface intake system, like New Orleans is. We are kind of unique the way the Mississippi River actually draws the salt up into that permanent basin, per se. We are unique. We do have area of aquifers that keep flush, but once you get south of I-12, you probably can go down 1,800 feet and get a well. As further south you go, it's just not feasible because of saltwater intrusion, hydrogen, extreme hydrogen, and other it's
Run into another
mucks.
problem with that, with depth also. When you're looking at 20 to 30 feet from there down to 1,000 feet, you're looking at 60 degrees, sometimes a little cooler, 55. But when you start approaching 1,800 feet, temperature starts to climb. By the time you get 2,000 feet, you're at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. When you get to 2,200 feet, you're at about 130 degrees Fahrenheit. You go a lot further, and you're going to be blowing steam out.
I guess the question I have is that if Livingston Parish has this problem, why doesn't Ascension Parish have this problem? If they're south of I-12, okay?
Good.
I don't think Ascension Parish sucks their water from the Mississippi River like New Orleans.
Ascension Parish gets all their water from Baton Rouge Water.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Baton Rouge water.
They
Yep.
pump it from up north.
they pump it from Baton Rouge. There's several mains that cross that.
Was there any move by Livingston Parish government to create pumping from north to south? Is there any?
Bing, it's what I'm talking about.
There is
Exactly.
so to do that is a very massive undertaking, and I'm not going to say it can't be done because it has been done privately.
Well, recently we authorized the borrowing of up to $33 million to install smart meters in Ward 2 water system.
Well,
That $33 million would have provided a force main to the south.
if Ascension Parish can pump it from Baton Rouge, and they can do it, why can't we do it?
Now, I will interject for a second. I do know that Killian's has a new company that started out, I think Magnolia, I guess, Water Company.
Magnolia Water.
Yeah, so they are just now starting out. They're trying to give them an opportunity. Some issues that they had prior to this was that they had all old equipment, so some of the meters weren't working properly. Aside from the Killian, I mean, I know it's a huge issue, but I want to make sure our focus is not just Killian, but to make sure that the future of, Livingston Parish, we can make sure this doesn't happen in the future as well. So, like, I know this is like an introduction, and I think we all can agree that one of the biggest things that anyone needs to focus on is health, and that this is a huge health issue whenever we can't even drink our water supply. So I think one of the focuses for the next meeting would be, I'd like us to do a little research, and I'm not asking for us to have any answers because this is not our skill or our professionality of this, okay? What I'm asking for is to see if there's any kind of recommendation we can put forward to oversee, to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Like your suggestion, I think that's great. See if there's a commission that can, or create a commission that oversees all the water supplies, so that when we have a D, because it's not the first year they had a D, this is maybe the second or third year that they've had it. This should have been stopped that first year that they had a low score. And even though the scores implemented on finances and audits, there is a large factor on, I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was deemed unsanitary. So when that happens, something should have happened to begin with. And I think you're on the right track with having a commission oversee it, and as soon as they see it, they can say, hey, we need to fix this. Let's get some answers going right now. So
It could be an administrative department of the parish president's office for that matter. But someone needs to be looking at the cohesive effort,
yeah,
make certain that we don't let anybody fall through the cracks.
yeah. So if we can, for the next meeting, let's try to, get some ideas together of what we can do to recommend to the council or to the planning commission to make sure our water supplies doesn't get to this level, and maybe something that we say or do can help the community in Killian, citizens in Killian currently. I know right now they're in that transition, so hopefully their answers will be solved, but maybe something that we say or add to can also assist in it.
Sabrina, I mentioned the group of families that came here that one night. They were super polite. Oh my goodness, they were polite. They were calm and quiet. They weren't sit there chattering in the gallery like some people do when they have an issue. They were unbelievably polite and very civil. And they very asked simply, somebody help. And they haven't been seen since. They made their request known and they went home. But we haven't done anything to help them. And for the life of me, the last 2 years, I just cannot quit seeing those faces. They needed help. They just asked, please do something for us. And then went back home. And 100 feet this way, they got French Settlement water, and 100 feet that way, they have Killian water. And nobody will give them drinking water. Just simple drink.
I want to expand on something that Mr. Clemens said earlier. True story is, way back 40 years ago, give or take, there was someone wanted to start a dump on Jubin Road off the end of Castle Road, and I was part of an organization that all the landowners got together, and we elected a leader, and we started logging all the residents, and every one of them had a septic tank with a hole knocked in the bottom, and every one of them had a shallow well 25 feet deep, and we logged all that stuff and started working with the EPA, and I started working with the EPA in Dallas, Texas at that time, and spent a lot of time and a lot of money on that, and we blocked that dump on Jubin Road, and them fine folks went to Walker. That's how that happened. We run them off. And then fine folks in Walker, they didn't run them off. They got it.
We need somebody here in Livingston Parish who their job, their profession, is to oversee all of these water systems and to also take the complaints that people that are not served by any water system. And we need to figure out how we're going to get there.
Do we know that that's not being done by the parish administration?
As far as I know, no, the parish administration, as far as I know, does not do that.
Well, I think we ought to make that as a recommendation.
I know from what I gather is the parish president's office doing what they can to assist Killian and the rural water areas as much as they can. But ultimately, the water company or the cities or towns or whatever, currently they're ultimately responsible for water as a system. Now, just devil's advocate, if you don't mind for a second. The commission, and I'm just while we're just having this discussion, would that actually become another, how would that, just in general talk, have teeth to force a water company to do what they need to do? You see where I'm?
Oh, yeah. The council would have to assume the authority to regulate water systems in the parish, number one.
So they would become the owner-operators?
Let's say they would become franchisees.
Well, the franchisee must have an owner-operator in Louisiana.
Yeah. So, first of all, we take the authority to make them answer to a central committee, office, whatever. And then there be reporting intervals. At that point in time, we just watch. Now, Killian has been in trouble for a long time. They're
Right.
operating off of one well. It's got a bad shaft going down. They've slip lined it. There needs to be a permanent solution there, but it's in the millions of dollars. And they know it. But they knew it for quite some time, and they just buried their head in the sand. I mean, I don't want to make anybody mad, but that's essentially what happened. We can't allow that to go. If they're providing quarterly reports and somebody is responsible and being paid to look at those, they could fly a flag and say, whoa, stop.
Right.
You guys are letting a monster develop here. I need to see an action plan. Are you going to lose your franchise here?
Right.
Now, I do want to add real quick, because the question was, is the parish doing anything versus the town? Because the town has their mayor and now I'm not 100% sure, and I could be wrong with this, but I think there was an election last June or so, and from what I came across, and I'm going to read this word from word. So this is a statement that I had read, and this person put, we have consulted with the Louisiana Department of Health and legal counsel to assess our options to retain the water system. We're looking for improvements. So I think they're active in looking for improvements. It says that looking ahead, we're trying to find a capable company. If a capable company steps in to manage and improve our water system, I believe this is the best path forward for our community. So I think that they're probably seeking for a new path. And I mean, I know they had purchased that Magnolia water system, and I think they're exploring their avenues. I mean, did they find a proper way? I'm not quite sure. I think they're in the process of it. So they know what's going on. They're trying to find different processes. And I want to make sure, even though we want to make sure that Killian's improve and be assistant to them and supportive of them, I think our main focus should be to focus more of, let's make sure that our parish aligns with the master plan. And yes, we want to make sure this improves, but don't just stay with Killian's, but our whole entire parish in general, to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Because I mean, I'm curious, how has their water system been years before? Is this something new? I mean, I don't know that or anything.
See, I'm not talking about just add another layer of supervision. The state does that just fine. We don't have a problem there. We need to be supervising to the point that we're willing to step in and assist.
Yeah. So for the next meeting, let's kind of get some ideas together. Because tonight's not a night to make a final decision. It's more of just to understand what's going on. So let's do some research, and then if you guys can come up with any recommendations, send it our way, and we'll look at it and put it on the agenda to see what path should be best moving forward. And maybe even if there's enough research, we may not even need to, but at least we know what's going on and we have that introduction so that we can see what more we can do so we can help the community as much as we can. I think that's the best thing. So I'm going to go ahead and pause from that and move to our next item, which is actually any open comments for future discussions. So I do want to go ahead and add something, and then I'm going to open it up for anyone else that would like to add any comments. So now that the master plan is finalized and the Unified Land Development Code is in process, I want to emphasize the purpose of this committee. We need to ensure that our parish and this master plan is aligned. That's the biggest focus in this. So as we notice any issues or misalignments, we act as the Planning Commission's sidekick in making recommendations to them. I just want to make sure that stays our focus, and this allows us to be a voice in the community, because this committee is not necessarily tied to like the politicians. We are the community, and we're the voice for our community. And I think we need to make sure we know that and we speak for them. And this also helps to give the stress off the Planning Commission, because whenever we add in any recommendations, like we can be that support for them if needed. And I think that anything discussed in these committees, it needs to align with our parish and the master plan together. Does anybody want to add any comments for future discussions or suggestions?
The only thing I would suggest is that as we review the final master plan here and look at the UDC code, let's look at the areas that is lacking, like we were just talking about the water system. Let's look at the areas that we need that's lacking in these plans, and let's try to start filling those areas up in this plan to make the plan, to keep building this plan forward. Let's not, unless we, my opinion, unless we see something that's obvious that needs to be addressed in the current plan, I think what needs to be addressed is those options, just like we were talking about the water system. Then we need to start working on those type of parts of the plan to keep it building and moving forward.
We have a lot of items in these master plan that no one is addressing at all. We wrote them down, we printed out color copies, everybody's happy, but nobody's doing anything with it. We can provide oversight in pushing out to the council and planning and zoning for that matter, saying, hey, this is our plan. Are you working on it? We can give them a scorecard occasionally. Not something I want to hammer every single week, but yeah, we can look for the gaps that's not in the plan at all. But by the same token, we need to be a conscience for people. Hey, we have this plan. Are you working on it?
And just to pull a parallel from the first plan that was done to now, look how long it's taken for us to update this plan. So, I mean, my opinion is this plan is technically a living, breathing document. And I personally believe that, I know this is gonna sound weird, but I think at the community level, starting with our committee here, technically should be updated at least once a year. Things change.
Thing to work on is saying that suppose we work on an annual update.
You start filling holes, you start filling gaps, you start making
Our
corrections.
annual state of the parish address.
I mean, you literally, because I could probably go through this right now, and I'm not saying I'm any better than anyone here, but with my background, y'all know I have. I can probably find a lot of holes in here that can be fixed better. And why not? I'm not saying it's wrong or anything, but we can always make a document better. Now, I think that again, back to what I'm saying, where I was going with is those areas that's really lacking, like we're just talking about the water system. I think that's something we need to concentrate on. But at the end of the day, next year this time, my belief is that this needs to be updated again. Not so much it's got to be like totally rewritten, totally type of deal, but just, updated.
Are we on, still on, paragraph 9, item number 9?
Yes, number 9,
Uh,
open comments.
I think, water is infrastructure for the parish and is very, very important, but I think we really need to start concentrating on all infrastructure in the parish, highway infrastructure and capacity project, okay? Also community sewer system, which is extremely important. We need to start concentrating on that in the future where it's feasible. Sewer is very expensive, but in certain areas of the parish, we really need to expand the community sewer system and help the Livingston Parish Sewer District and the cities expand theirs and finding funds to do that. That's very important, and we need to start talking about that also in the next meeting.
Well, to expand on what Mr. Bryan said, that's a health item. I mean, I've been beating the drum about a community parish-wide sewer system for years. That is the number one. We were talking about, Mr. Bryan, we were talking about earlier about the water infiltration from sewer septic system, right? Number one, collect the sewer system. Make a
Well, I
collection system.
mean, I don't say it's number one. I'd say highway capacity infrastructure is, to me, is number one, but sewer, you need to expand the community sewer systems, especially Livingston Parish sewer system, especially that area between Dunn Springs and Walker. Borders from I-12 north to the railroad tracks. There is no collection lines in that area, and I've done a lot of studying on that stuff and wrote letters, and somehow I can't find them, so I got to start over.
Number one rule.
But sewer system needs to be expanded where it needs to be expanded at. It's very important.
For economic growth, remember, there's 3 to 4 categories that is looked at for economic growth. One, and there's no particular structure as this is more important than other, because different economic items deserve different things. But one is transportation. That's a given. 2 is potable water.
Mm-hmm.
3 is sewer. And 4 is a community to support it. If you go to a community to support it, support the economic development. So part of it, just like we were talking about the health part, the health is a big part of economic development, not just transportation. And I'm on board about transportation. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. I'm rails, foot, bikes, cars, trucks, trains, planes, airplanes, whatever. I am all on board with that. But if we're going to make an impact and make a real economic impact, it's got to be a 3-pronged approach in this parish, you've got to have the transportation, you've got to have the water resources, and you've got to have the sewer and treatment resources.
I agree.
There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. You
I
want to
agree, but
bring,
we need to work on other things besides water, is my point, okay?
Right.
Water is very important. We spent the whole evening talking about water, and we're not about.
I'm
not
just saying
about
that's the
trans-
first priority, is taking
Not-
care of the health of our citizens
Well, I
first.
don't, I think the priority should be equal, like Ralph is saying. Let's work on all of them. Let's don't just work on water.
And we can definitely do that, but we have to make sure whatever category we're looking at, I would find it in the master plan, see what they have to say, see what needs to be adjusted, or how it can be aligned. But we can't just say, hey, we need to do this. We need to look at the master plan and make sure it's aligned with it. And then also do the research of what are they doing right now in the parish, so we're not double doing work. So I think all of that needs to be in perspective. And we can definitely, so once we have an idea of what needs to be done after looking at the master plan, what's going on right now, we can introduce it to the meetings, get it going, and then on that following meeting, go ahead and have some kind of recommendation, unless you have a recommendation at that time. So I think those are all great categories, and I agree 100% with all of y'all. Like, this needs to be improved. This is a living document. It can definitely be adjusted as we go, because life adjusts, as we go. So definitely, we have to make sure we do it the right way, though, as far as identifying the issue, aligning it with the master plan, aligning what's going on right now, and then introducing it and making recommendations. But I think that's great. I mean, let's be productive this year. It's 2026. Let's get it done. So I think that's all great information. And honestly, I love working with you guys. Y'all are very knowledgeable, and y'all have taught me so much. And I feel so blessed to be part of this committee. I really do. But moving forward, does anybody else have any open comments that they'd like to add? Okay, so this looks like the end of our first meeting for 2026. Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
motion adjourned.
Okay, anyone want a second? All right, anyone oppose? All right, motion adjourned.